Perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Miss Anchors live from my classroom. I know I'm back at school and I'm safe, but I'm here today to do a Zoom into career with Miss Blain Warner from Thurston County. Oh my gosh, I just blanked on where you're from. Why don't I'll let you take it over and you can tell us where
Perfect.
you're from.
Well, I am the program director for Leadership Thurston County, which is a program of the Thurston County Chamber Foundation.
Perfect. Thank you for filling me in. So our first question is, why don't you give us a little bit more on what does your job look like before everything's happened and you're working from home? Because I love your backsplash there with Yelm Tornadoes. It looks like you're a graduate. So go Tornadoes.
2003.
So before everything happened, what did your job look like? And then with this new moving into working from home, what does your job look like now?
Okay. Well, as I tell everybody, I have the best job in the world. I really believe that. I love what I do every day. And I couldn't think of something better for me to be doing, to be completely honest. I run Leadership Thurston County, which is an adult community immersion leadership program. It is an application tuition-based program. You have to live or work in Thurston County, and you meet once a month for a full challenge day, September through June. So it's kind of like a continuing education kind of course, but it's all about community involvement and leadership.
Okay.
We do lots of panels and presentations with people doing the work in the community. I do a lot of site visits and tours. I like to call them adult field trips. And we explore the areas in Thurston County and interact with the people and the places and organizations that are doing the work. Every month has a different theme or topic. So whether it's Environment Day, Education Day, Health and Human Services Day, Law and Justice Day, the content and curriculum for that day fits in within that theme. For example, Law and Justice Day, I get to take my class on a behind the scenes look of the Thurston County Jail. Not everyone gets to go do something like that.
Yeah.
And during Business and Economic Development Day, we go and visit places like Callison's, which is in Hawks Prairie. If you brushed your teeth this morning or ate gum or mint chocolate chip ice cream, that mint most likely was produced and manufactured in Hawks Prairie. Callison's is the world leader in mint manufacturing, and it comes right here in our backyard.
So is this for, like, would I be a person that could join your group, or would it be for somebody that maybe needs some help finding a job, or is it for people that have jobs, or who is it exactly targeted to?
It is typically people who have jobs. We have a lot of interest actually from teachers to go through the program. We've never had a teacher, but we've had people from all of the community district offices actually go through this. We try to make the class as diverse as possible. We have nonprofits, we have government agencies, we have business owners, we have bank tellers to bank CEOs. And everything in between. It's just an adult who lives or works in Thurston County, and typically the employer pays the tuition for the program participant.
And then speaking of tuition, how much is your tuition for your program?
So our tuition for next year's class is $2,300, and that pays for the 10 sessions, all food, snacks, transportation, all the curriculum materials for the program year.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. So our next question, and you have your list of questions in here, so I'm just going to read, is there anything else that you would like to add about what you do with your job? And
oh, I didn't touch on how it's changed with.
Okay.
So with the change with COVID-19 and everyone mostly working from home and some people maybe not working right now, we've had to end our year with virtual programming. So just like students are doing online education, the students in my program are doing virtual challenge day sessions as well. And our graduation is up in the air also. Very different kind of graduation ceremony than a high school one. So heart goes out to all of the class of 2019 or 2020.
2020. It's going to be interesting to see how that is taken forth. And have you noticed, has your attendance dropped off with your participants with this new change to virtual learning?
So what I have found is we typically had a full business day that we met 8 to 5 p.m. and I was no way gonna expect them to do an 8 to 5 virtual session. So we broke up our days into 90-minute mini sessions once a week and hope that they can attend as much as they can. And so far I have about 75 to 80% attending each of the sessions, and all of them have a few different people. So people are making it when they can. And it's actually a better turnout than I kind of anticipated.
That's great. That's got to make you feel good that the people are still invested in getting that learning and giving back to the community in that way.
Yeah, it's been rather easy in some ways. All of the presenters that would have been meeting for these last few challenge days we had left have been able to turn their presentations into virtual presentations. So the content and curriculum is still there. We're obviously not able to do the site visits and tours, but the curriculum piece and the big takeaways from the program are still able to be there, just in a different setting.
Very cool. Okay. So question number 2, what are important skills and training you need to enter this career? So like if you were going to mentor somebody coming in to take over your job, let's say, hopefully that never happens, but
Right.
what skills do you, and ability, well, what did it say? Skills and training do you think they would need?
So for a job like mine, I'm going to speak a little bit broader to just working at the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
I worked there as the events coordinator for 8.5 years prior to this position. And for me, it was just a lot of office work experience. One of the best classes I took when I was in high school was called MOUSE. It was Microsoft User Specialist, and learning and becoming certified in Word and Excel and PowerPoint. I'm called the mail merge queen sometimes in our office because those are some of the skills that I, at the time, probably didn't realize how important they were. But for me, in my office setting, those have been the most helpful for me. I do have a degree in public relations, but it's not necessarily directly related to running a community leadership program. But any sort of training or experience you can have with really just office software, QuickBooks, those kinds of things would help you if someone wanted to try to take my job. But I mean, it is the best job, so I could see why they would want to.
Yeah, so I actually teach, it's Microsoft Office Specialist is what the MOS stands for, and I teach that class. So we call it computer applications, and the students also have the opportunity to earn college credit. And I'm sure when you were here, you took it from Miss Flowers.
Mrs. Steele.
Oh, Mrs. Steele. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I think I stress to those kids. I know I teach mostly freshmen, and we have a tech comm class, and we really focus on teaching those Microsoft softwares, and the kids are like, oh, it's so challenging. And I'm like, it will pay off. How do you feel about, do you guys use Google at all? Because I know right now, like with school being online, we've really switched to a Google environment. Have you had to teach yourself anything about Google, or are you still able to really?
Oh my goodness. That is what other than my virtual challenge days, I am spending a lot of time researching other software platforms that I could use in case my program needs to be virtual next year as well. So I've looked into Google, I'm looking into Microsoft Teams, I'm looking at some functionality with Zoom and how I can do panels and presenters and small groups. And I mean, as cliche as this might sound, the technology is key. What I do is very specialized in community leadership, but even as an event planner previously for the chamber, it's all about having those technical skills of running reports and spreadsheets and mail merging name tags and just kind of having those technical skills. I was forever grateful when my boss sent me to a continuing education class for Access and how to create an Access database for us to use for our auction.
Yeah, Access is a very powerful program. Speaking of, it sounds like you interact with a lot of individuals that have, and this is just a question off from what you've just stated, leadership abilities or are leaders in their work field. What do you think are some traits that students could work on to become really good leaders?
You know, so our leadership program, there's leadership programs all over the country. There's 25 in the state of Washington, which I mean, when I was in high school, I didn't know a job like mine even existed. I think the most important thing for high school students to know and do is to be involved and know that your experience of who you know and those soft skills are really going to take you far. I got my position at the chamber because I had become an admin assistant for the visitor center right after college. And my boss at the time told her husband, you need to hire Alisha at the chamber. And I've been there for 12 and a half years. And it was all about who I knew because she knew my experience. She knew where I had volunteered. She knew what I wanted to do. So getting out and volunteering in whatever field or area you're interested in, it's going to give you that leg up of experience.
Okay.
I also coach a high school dance team. I started volunteering coaching when I was in high school and in college. And it might not seem very fulfilling when you're volunteering. A lot of times kids, they want to make money, but the volunteer experience a lot of times is what's going to put you over the edge over someone who just has the certificates or training or schooling or whatever they might need for their career. It's that extra experience. Do an internship, do a job shadow, any of those things that can help connect you with your career field, and make sure you really want to do it. There's nothing worse than going through a training or schooling and realizing, oh my gosh, this job sucks. This isn't what I want to do. And then having to start over.
And I think a lot of kids that, even though we talk to them about it and really try to give them a lot of different avenues to look at, I think a lot of kids too at this age in high school think, well, I don't need to think about that. I've got 4 years, when really it's now in your 9th grade through 12th grade year that you need to be exploring and volunteering and getting that experience that you're talking about to determine sort of what you want to do down the line.
Absolutely. When I was there at the high school, I was very involved in lots of different things. And I knew by the end of my senior year that I was like, because of my participation in National Honor Society that I had a partnership with the Yelm Area Chamber, we did a lot of volunteer work, and that's when I knew I wanted to do events. I loved planning events, concerts, grand openings. I mean, anything, not wedding kind of events, but just more business, community engagement, and fundraising. I really liked fundraising events, auctions and golf tournaments and such. And that's what kind of put me on my pathway. And then I just happened to meet someone when I was just honestly a secretary out of college who knew someone and said, hire her. And that's how I got there.
Very
and so
cool.
It's all about that involvement and getting engaged. And you never know, you might be in FBLA or FFA. I mean, I did it all when I was in high school, and find something that you love.
So the next question is, what do you recommend students do now to prepare for employment? And you've really just touched on that. Is there anything else that you would add in besides that interpersonal connection with people and getting involved that would help them with employment?
You know, I would explore as much as you can. I've always thought Yelm has had a much larger assortment of class offerings, especially in CTE. I mean, I took floral design in high school. I got a job as a florist in college for a while because I had that skill. I never wanted to be a florist long term, but you never know where something like that might pay off. And so the more variety you can take of classes, even if it's just a quarter or semester, just to experience it so that you can walk out and say, nope, don't want to do that, or yep, this is the career path. That's all just as beneficial. Newmarket has some great classes. If you're looking, interested in being a chef, do a week-long summer course over the summer. As much as you can test and kind of test the waters now as a student before, you're out of high school, I think the better.
Okay, sweet. Okay. What advice would you have given yourself in high school to better prepare for your career field?
Talking through all this, I realized I really had a much stronger path than the usual student. I know many people aren't like me and know what they want to do by the time they graduate high school and then accomplish that job, 6 months out of college. That's not the usual path. But I think the advice I would give myself is that to just be open-minded, that you don't know where your path is going to go, and that your dream job now might not even exist by the time you graduate from college or a trade school, or maybe 10 years down the road you realize you need a career change. Everything is changing so rapidly and quickly, and the world right now is a completely crazy, weird place with everything being virtual. Who knows what's going to come out in the next 6 months with jobs and research. And So just having an open mind, and that whole cliche, don't put all your eggs in a basket, you know, learn as much as you can from whoever's around you and just be open-minded and be prepared to explore.
If you could change your job, if in a snap of a finger, and you had like the degree that you needed and everything was just set up for you, would you change your job or would you stick where you are? And if you did change, what job would you want to do?
You know, that's a great question. I genuinely love my job. I think the degree path I took of a major in public relations and minor in business administration, it works with all my Chamber of Commerce work and the community leadership. It all just comes from experience. I went through my own program as a student years ago. I had told my boss that I needed to go through as a student so that one day when I ran it, I would know from their perspective. But I think if there's anything I could do, I was telling my husband this the other day, I sometimes wish I would have been more involved in college and done like a student exchange, or maybe did a summer cruise ship program, just kind of lived outside the box more. I'm very much a rule follower, and so it was okay, go to college for 4 years and I get a job, and I didn't give myself that room to kind of explore some of those other opportunities, even doing like a spring break student exchange, just kind of broadening my horizons, because I was so tunnel vision on what I wanted to do. I didn't have some of those outside opportunities.
Okay, very cool.
I would love to go be a cruise director and plan their events for like a season. That'd be great.
Oh, that would be really fun, I think. I had a question and I lost it when you were talking. What is the best part of your job?
So the best part of my job is seeing the relationships the class members build with each other. A lot of times there are people in the class that would have never met outside of it, because either they're working at a government agency, or they're at a nonprofit, or they're a business owner. Just giving them that opportunity to interact with each other is amazing, and to see those relationships grow, and connecting people. My guarantee is that you will leave every one of our program days saying, I didn't know that. And I was born and raised in Thurston County. I worked at the chamber when I went through, and I was like, oh, I know everything. I'm going to go through this just because I want to learn about it. It's cake. And I don't think I said anything for the first 3 sessions, because I was like, how did I not know this existed? How did I not know these people? How did I not know we had these businesses in our backyard? There's so much more that we don't realize because we live here, because we have those blinders on to what's really going on. And so to be able to have people open their eyes and have such a fulfilling experience it's just awesome.
Okay, I'm going to get up and move because my lights just went off in my room. To get that light back in there. Okay. What was the best thing that when you went through your program as a student, what was the best thing that you took away, or that aha moment, or that I didn't know that this was even in Thurston County?
Honestly, it's probably a lot of the site visits and tours. The mint manufacturer blows my mind in Hawks Prairie. I mean, that's amazing.
Where does the mint come from? Do they grow it here?
I believe the mint is brought in, and Callison's just manufactures it into mint oil. Okay. And we don't know about it, because their clients are like Colgate and Hershey's, the people that are buying the mint extract for their products. So they would never know. We wouldn't know that they're here.
Okay.
Some of the other really cool ones, ice chips. Everyone loves to tour the ice chips facility.
Did they just recently move? Because I know they used to be over there by the airport, and I drove by there the other day, and they're not there anymore. So
that was the last location I knew about. Yeah.
Okay. I might need to do my research. So
yeah. My other big one is Arts and Culture Day. We usually tend to focus just in on downtown Olympia, and so that we can do everything within walking distance, and to have everyone in the class say they went somewhere they'd never been, when we all just kind of live and work in this community, is always eye-opening. And we do a tour of the county, and we take the group to Yelm. Is one of our stops, and taking them to the Yelm movie theater and Uptown Lounge. People are always blown away. They had no idea it was there. And I'm like, how did you not know there was a Yelm movie theater? And I forget, not everyone is from Yale.
Yeah. Being from Yelm and going to Yelm High School, what was one of your most, just to sort of wrap up our, unless you have anything else, do you have anything else that you'd like to add about your job? Or
I have the best job ever, and I hope people find whatever their passion is so they can feel like they have the best job ever. That's important.
I definitely think that's very important. So to wrap up our interview, I just want to know, what was one of your best memories of being a student at Yelm High School?
Oh, that's an easy one.
Okay.
My senior year of high school, or I guess the end of my junior year, was the year the dance team and cheer team combined into a joint program, and it was a lot of drama, I'll admit, when they combined. But we did the first year being a 30+ cheer team with 30+ dancers, and we won the state championship that year.
Well, congratulations. That
Yeah.
would be a great memory to have.
That's probably one of my favorite high school memories, was because of all that work and everything.
And it paid off.
Yeah. Jazzline will always have a special place in my heart, even though I coach at a competing high school.
Where do you coach at?
North Thurston.
Okay. Well, I hope that you have success this year and with your girls on your dance team. And thank you for taking your time and giving us a brief view of your program that you offer. It sounds really interesting. It sparked my interest a little bit. So
it's really cool.
Maybe
it really
I might have
is.
to talk to my boss to see if she'll help sponsor me do the program.
Absolutely. I would love to have a teacher go through it. One of the big changes I made when I took over the program was on Education Day, and we do a teachers panel now. It's great to hear from superintendents. It's great to hear from principals, but we want to hear from the people in the classroom.
Well, if you ever need a volunteer, please send me an email and I'd be more than happy to donate some time and come.
I will add you to that list. That's been a highlight the last few years, is getting the real 101 of life in the classroom now.
Definitely. It's a very interesting environment, but I have to say, just like you, I feel like I have the best job in the world, and it's changed a little bit right now. And it's been hard not seeing my kids every day, and I can't wait to get them back in the classroom and be able to interact with them, because that's the best part of my job.
Yeah. So I guess that's an answer I could have given before too. I really am a teacher at heart. There are some days that I wish I did go back to school, and I've thought about going back to get a master's in education to be a teacher. But then I remember that we need people in the business community that have that passion for education to help bridge that gap, because there really is one. I have a lot of teacher friends. I work at SISVIS for a week each summer doing student leadership camp. And my world is just all leadership all around.
Yeah, we probably know some of the same people. That's
for sure.
Yeah.
And just, helping bridge that connection, because we don't know what we don't know. Like, I don't know what a teacher goes through. Teachers don't know what a business community goes through. And just to try to help bridge that that's my goal and passion in life, really, I think.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking your time, and check back on our website so you can see our edited video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but thank you for your time, and please, once again, reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to come help you out.
I will put you on my contact list for Education Day next year.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.